What is up, Nuggets? It's your boy, Killer Pizza, here with a brand new video for you rascals and rapscallions out there. Today I just wanted to make a quick little video of a film I watched for the very first time last night, and I wanted to talk about it while it was fresh in my mind, and that is 1983's Scalps, directed by Fred Olen Ray. Now, first and foremost, I must mention this is one of the original video nasties. If you guys are not familiar with what a video nasty is, it's a group of films that I don't know who made this up. I think it was like some board or something in England, but they deemed a handful of these movies, maybe like 50 or so, as like inappropriate, TVMA, you can't watch, and they ended up being banned in multiple countries, for the longest time. Some of these video nasties were banned until like the last decade. They were finally able to watch like legally in certain countries. Correct me if I'm wrong on that. That's my understanding of video nasties. But as you guys know, like, if they tell you not to watch something, especially horror, this is too crazy, don't watch it. Us horror fans, we're going to seek it out and watch it. And that's what brought me to this film. I've owned it for a minute, and I finally got down to watching it. So, give you a little plot synopsis. Pretty much, it's about like an archaeologist, like a teacher, who has all of his students, and they're going to travel. I don't even remember where the hell they travel to. They go somewhere to dig up, like, Indian bones, or like looking for like arrowheads and spears, like valuables from the Indians, but this is like an Indian burial ground. So when the kids show up to dig up the bones, the spirits of these dead Indians possess two of the characters, and they end up going on a killing spree, killing all of their friends. So with that being said, this movie is pretty much what you'd expect it to be. It's got a pretty short runtime of an hour and 22 minutes, but I will say after watching this movie did drag a little bit. We don't really get to any killings until about 55 minutes in, but yeah, this movie wasn't too bad, wasn't good, wasn't great. And I must mention that this film actually apparently only had a $15,000 budget, which is pretty crazy. I mean, I know it's worth more back in the day, back in '83, but still, to make a whole movie for that, I'll say I'm pretty impressed with what they did. So, with that being said, let me talk about some of the things I did like about this film. Like I said, I like the creativity they did to stretch the money for $15,000. I kind of have a love-hate for the soundtrack. They have like some of the most, like, I don't want to say generic, but just the synthy classic horror movie sound, and like, it's pretty over the top, but it's likable in a way. These characters are decent. I would say probably my favorite thing about this film is the look of these Indians right here, these dead Indians. They look pretty cool, which they pretty much mostly show up in like these, it's like when the people are getting possessed, they'll be looking at the sun or the moon, and then one of these Indian faces will just like pop up on the screen, and kind of how what's that creepy face in the Exorcist, Pazuzu? It's kind of like how that flashes up. It holds a little longer, and it kind of looks similar to like the Evil Dead, like the way the makeup effects look on these Indians coming back from the dead or whatever. Which, I mean, that's pretty cool. So I mean, I must say, the first 30 seconds of this movie, there was a decapitation from one of these Indian spirits in the opening credits. So, I mean, that alone makes this watchable for any horror fan. And the fact of, like, how often you get a decapitation with practical effects. The first 30 seconds, I've seen that, like, all right, here we go. But with that being said, the pacing wasn't the best. It wasn't bad the first half hour or so, but the second act really, really dragged on until we got to the final act itself. So I would say this was a little slow, but I understand with budget and everything, they couldn't do the most with this. But like I said, it's carried decently with the characters. They're not the best, but they're not the worst. You don't get too invested in them, but they have some funny zingers in there, and it's not bad. And I will say the best part of this movie, the very best part, obviously I just talked about the beheading, is the practical effects. I'm blown away with what they could do This has a scene with a throat slash, which is very hard for me to watch. I don't know why I hate watching those in horror movies, but this was probably the best throat slash I've ever seen in a horror movie, really. I mean, I'm sure I've probably seen better, but off the top of my head, it's probably the best I've seen. It looked really good, which is very impressive for, the budget. And there's some more fun kills in here. Another decapitation, so we have two in this movie. So a nice, one of the best throat slashes and two decapitations and some decent makeup effects on the Indians. I mean, that alone, if you're into like 70s, 80s, or even 90s horror like I am, I think that would be worth watching it alone. And I don't know, another thing I need to point out that was a negative, but it's like the quality of this film was so bad. There was one scene, which another thing I think I don't like. I'll point out. I know I'm flip flopping all over the place, but there was like a rape scene in here where the guy gets possessed and rapes his girlfriend, which I hate seeing that in any movie. So maybe better the quality was bad there, but like I don't know if they lost the reel or lost something for that part of the film, but it was almost unwatchable, like how bad the quality looked, and that's saying a lot when you're talking about the transfers to a Blu-ray. I'm not sure what, it's just a 2K scan. So even for a 2K scan to Blu-ray, that looked pretty bad. I mean, it looks better-ish in some parts, which was kind of fun in a way because it looked like a grainy old VHS. But yeah, like I said, I don't know if that scene in particular was lost, but the picture quality of this is not good. It just makes me wonder how the quality was on VHS. And that goes on to my next point, if this is worth buying for anybody. If you're really into horror, I would say it's worth it, because for this point alone, like, I don't look at myself like a horror movie historian or anything like that, but at the same time, to a lesser degree, I see it that way for my own personal gain by collecting movies, because a lot of movies, this one in particular, probably, I'm not sure if it had a DVD release, I don't think so, but a lot of these certain horror movies only came out on VHS, never got a DVD release, or a Blu-ray for that matter. So when you pick up certain films like this is something that won't be streaming, and if you were a kid that was born on the video store days like I was, and remember the big horror movie section, some of these movies like this are satisfying to own because you feel like you're preserving a certain place in horror history, especially when it comes to video nasties. If you're a real horror fan, you should grab all the video nasties you can. And I can also see why this was a video nasty. I mean, oh, I forgot to mention Scalps. Yeah, there's a handful of like how the Indians would scalp people. There's a couple scenes of that. So that, two decapitations, a throat slit. This was pretty gory, though most of it happened in the opening credits for some reason, or the last 20 minutes of this film. So if you can sit through the big chunk of it that drags a little, this is definitely worth watching. I don't know if a casual horror fan would be interested in this. This is one you could put on with some friends where you're not really paying attention, and then when the gore comes up, oh shit, look at that, But as for hardcore horror fans, this is one I would suggest picking up. I mean, the artwork alone is unbelievable. I forgot who put this movie out. Retro Media? Okay, yeah, not a bad film though. Not too many special features. It looks like there is commentary by the director, so that would be pretty interesting to check that out. I might have to watch that just to hear if he mentions how he did this on such a shoestring budget. But anyways, yeah, those are my quick thoughts about this movie. Like I said, if you're really into horror, it's worth checking out. If you're a casual horror fan, maybe not so much. I thought it was worth it. Not the best, but it was fun, and for the practical effects alone, I would say it's worth watching. But other than that, let me know if you guys have seen this movie in the comment section below. Let me know if you have any other movies you would like me to review in the comments. Like, comment, subscribe, share this video if you'd like. Other than that, blood, guts, gore. I'll check you guys next time.